Retirement and travel. Are you changing your plans, especially because of some of the recent world events going on around the world? I'm walking and looking at I think a flood control project on one of the rivers or creeks here in Cebu City, the Philippines, and a lot of metal going up to control the water. They've done some cleanup. I think a couple months ago they started working on cleaning up some of the rivers again. Anyway, the reason for this video is I've been reading. I belong to some of the Facebook groups and expats in the Philippines, expats on a budget in the Philippines, etc., etc., etc. Many groups, and a lot of questions have come up about different events. Is it safe here? What's the China-Philippines situation? Is it safe to travel? And is it safe in your own country? You know, should you be looking for various terrorist attacks around the world and even where you live, whatever country that might be? And interesting, all the different types of responses. And it's you know, we all have different backgrounds, different thought processes, of course. And interesting reading through the comments. Everything from you better hunker down where you're at or find the safest place you can and start prepping and storing food and ammunition, all that type of thing, to you better start learning Chinese, to know a conflict isn't going to spread to the Philippines, and you know, China has too much to lose. Number one, China gets a huge amount of its income from exports to other countries, and it certainly doesn't want to, as much as the U.S. and other countries have tried to block some of that trade and such. It really, the world really depends upon China. You go to any stores and you look at everything on the shelves, made in China, made in China, made in China. And now we have situation in the Middle East, which is kind of an ongoing situation for many decades, even thousands of years. This is a walk I took on a Sunday, by the way, and a lot of the bands, they don't have big football fields, soccer fields, whatever to practice on, big huge band rooms and auditoriums at a lot of their schools. And so these various bands find a place on the street, in the median, wherever, and they set up and they practice. And I'm going to encounter, I think, 3 different band practices along the way as we go forward here. Here in the coming days, I'm going to do a video or two reviewing airline flight costs and availability, as well as what's happening with the real estate, rental prices, and sales prices around the Philippines, especially in Cebu City. But I'll touch on a few other places as well and see what's happening there. We are getting close here in October. We're getting close to the higher season. You know, unless you've been hiding in a cave someplace, you know that the last 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, with travel restrictions and the tourist industry, hospitality industry, the service industries, were pretty much devastated. People out of work, companies shutting down, and tourism pretty much stopped dead in its tracks. And these economies, the Philippines, Thailand, read an article the other day, Thailand resorts and hotels are still hurting. They don't have the tourism that they were expecting. They are not getting the huge influx they were hoping once they opened up their economy. I have read another article that said, yeah, the people, you know, some governments put out pandemic payments. They paid people to stay home, basically, because a lot of businesses closed, and kind of a welfare type situation. And a lot of that money has been used up, and credit card costs, credit card billings. A lot more people are putting things on credit cards, and instead of taking international trips, they're taking shorter local trips within their country. So my thinking is it's going to take a couple more years for the tourist industry, which is a big part of the economy, GDP here in the Philippines, to come back. It's going to take a couple years, and there's still so there are bargains to be had. You can come here. There are resorts, hotels, condominiums, apartments that you can rent. There's tens of thousands. When they shut down the economy in March 2020, millions of people went back to their home countries, back to Korea and Japan and China and the Western countries and Africa, and they went back, and only a percentage of them have been coming back. So there is an opportunity that might not be here in a couple of years, for instance. I think you can, depending upon what type of deal you get with the airlines, you should be able to find some deals if you want to do some traveling to resorts and around the Philippines here in the next year. Now, October, November especially starts a higher season. November, December. Generally, December airline prices go up because OFWs, overseas Filipino workers, tend to come back, visit with their family during that Christmas season, and we'll see what happens this year, if they're going to get the influx or if there's going to be a decline in travel. So my question to all of you is, are you changing your plans about traveling at all? Are you traveling domestically within your country? Are you still considering traveling internationally, especially to the Philippines? All the restrictions are down. You don't need to be vaccinated. You don't need to have a negative antigen test. There is a e-travel form you fill out online. Basically asks you where you're going to be staying, your passport number, probably a few other things. There's another form you need to fill out, I think, on the plane. Whether you're declaring anything, you can travel with, I think, up to, if you have more than 10,000 US dollars with you, you have to declare that. My understanding, you can travel with more than that, but you have to declare it. Now, if you see my shadow there, you see my left arm sleeve kind of blowing in the wind there. Some of you know 3 weeks ago I took a fall walking at night on a dark street. I took a fast, hard fall. I broke my shoulder. I dislocated and shattered my shoulder, left shoulder basically, and just had the stitches, the staples taken out, 11 staples taken out of my arm. And it's going to take another month or two before I start rehab, because I can barely move it right now without having quite a bit of pain. Got to wait for that to heal up a little bit. Got about an 11-inch scar on my arm. I've done a video about the medical costs for that. It was like $3,330 US dollars. I put a lot of that on my credit card, but I think a little over 50,000 pesos, about 1,000 US dollars, had to be cash, and that was to the company that supplied the titanium and the sterilized surgical tent they put over me during surgery, I think. So if you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. I think like 70% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. I put out 2 to 3 videos every week on quite a number of subjects. Got over, I think, 1,300 videos up. I'm going to walk up to the corner up here and take a right, walk down towards a newer mall called Robinson's Galleria, and there's a lot more action happening on the streets. A lot of people out on the streets, restaurants, food stands, sari stores, lots of stuff going on over there. This is a Sunday, and Sunday generally there is less traffic. There is sometimes, if there's a holiday, or if there was a payday on a Saturday, for instance, there might be a lot more people out on a Sunday. because they've got money to spend. But generally, Sundays are family day. Families will get together and go to the beach, go to the mall, go to wherever. Depends on what region of the Philippines you're in. Filipinos are family oriented and often live in big family groups, and even out in the provinces once you get out of the cities. I've visited a few families out there, sometimes with other subscribers who invited me along on a trip, and you'll find big extended families living in a whole section in the province. They live in all the houses up in the mountain, side of a mountain, or even down in the lowlands, and they might be farming, they might have a fish farm to sustain themselves a number of different ways. They also tend to do things in groups. In fact, one of the interesting things that's happened to me when I first came here, and still does, you walk into a restaurant or some other place and, "Are you alone, sir?" "Why are you alone?" "Because I'm hungry and I'm alone, so that's why I'm alone. You know, I'm out walking, I'm out shopping, whatever I'm doing." And it seems strange to Filipinos because many times, more often than not, they are doing things at least one or two or three or four different people or in a group. And that's part of the difference to a lot of Western cultures, I guess. I think this is the third band group here, and they saw my camera out here and took a little interest in the vlog. Most of these bands, and you'll find them marching down the street, they kind of take over a street on a regular basis, especially if there's a fiesta. And they've got 3 or 4 different main instruments. They've got the drums, lots of different drums. They've got the trumpet, not a cornet, but a trumpet. And what do you call it, cymbals? Cymbals that they kind of like got keys on. Filipinos tend to like cameras, and I think they're #1 in taking selfies, for instance. But not always, I think you'll see still up here ahead. There's one girl tried to cover up when she saw my camera. One thing I hope to do soon, in fact, is I've got some new wireless mics that I purchased, and I want to go out and start doing more interviews with Filipinos. And what kind of fish is this?
Tuna.
Tuna. And this is what?
Tilapia.
Tilapia. Is that from the farm?
From the sea.
From the sea? Really? Interesting. There's a lot of these small to medium-sized markets all over town, depending upon the area that you're walking in. And all these stores, Palawan Pawn Shop. These are places, little. I think that's what that is, Palawan Pawn Shop. You can send and receive money there. You can pay bills there, and you got a church service going on there, I think. Now back to tilapia. I thought tilapia was mostly a farmed fish. I read years ago that it was a fast-growing fish from Africa, I think, and that it was imported into the U.S. and people, because cod was becoming very expensive, a lot of the fish and chips places were going to tilapia. And anyway, but they do have fish farms out in the sea, right in the sea. I think they still feed it. They feed them fish food instead of regular food that a fish would eat out there. Here's the girl. She wasn't quite sure if she wanted to be on camera or not. But anyway, I've been in the Philippines, but Cebu City primarily. Lots of these stands like this. Chicken, I think years ago they used to be 180, a little more than $3 for a full grilled chicken. And I think they're $2 or more now for a grilled chicken like that. or over 200 pesos, I mean, which would be around $4. And so, pretty good, lots of choices out here on the street if you want to eat. My stomach is a little sensitive. I don't buy street food very often, but something like chicken that's well done. That some of these places get pretty long lines sometimes, so they're popular. And if they're popular, you know, depending upon how sensitive your stomach is, it might be worth taking a chance. I've got a friend who eats quite a bit at the street places and the little food stands along the Philippines, and he generally doesn't have any problem. Generally, I think. If you continue down this street, down there on the right a bit is Robinson's Galleria Mall. That's where the immigration office is now. And if you go down to the light down here, take a left, walk less than a mile is SM Mall. Anyway, see you next time.